Yes, let me go a bit further in checking things out as regards Egyptian beliefs. According to AI, ancient Egyptian gods were generally seen as benevolent and accessible, not as distant or tyrannical figures, primarily because they believed to be actively involved in maintaining the cosmic order, maat, and sustaining human life. The primary role of the gods was to ensure continuous functioning of the universe and keep the forces of chaos at bay. Natural events like the crucial annual flooding of the Nile, which fertilized the farmland, were seen as their benevolent work. Egyptians believed gods were present in the natural order and involved in their daily lives, not just in major cosmic events. People could pray for divine help with practical personal matters, from illness and infertility to minor issues like neighbor disputes. So ancient Egyptians approached their deities with a degree of confidence and boldness, a reflection of the perceived intimacy between humans and gods. The gods were seen as patient problem solvers and mediators who could be counted on for help, provided they were shown respect and received offerings. Many of the household gods were specifically considered friendly and helpful. Their images were common in homes and personal shrines, highlighting a close personal relationship with the divine that existed outside of the formal state temples. Do you see how you get this sort of non-conformist religion of the poor there? The gods were not just concerned with present life, but also took care of people after death. Gods like Anubis and Osiris guided the deceased through the underworld, and the weighing of the heart ceremony ensuring a successful afterlife, for those who lived righteously, of course. This perception contrasts much with some other ancient religions like those of Mesopotamia, which often depicted gods as more volatile and fearsome, and contributed to a religious system focused on harmony and reciprocity between humans and the divine. Wow, that's just what I needed. Says it much better than me. How lovely. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. So yes, I'm happier with my historicity now, my conjecture that Egypt brought the personal love, and Mesopotamia, via the steppes of Central Asia, people like the Scythians brought family loyalty and incredible drive. Fearsome, of course. In some sense, I sort of see the Persian as the male side of God. And the awesome warrior, which is what the Hebrew religion plays on in the Judaic historicity of it. That God was, Joshua was facing the captain of the host of the Lord, and he was terrified, fell on his face in awe and before him. Whereas Egypt represents land of care and plenty, and maat, I don't know, is that how you pronounce it? M-A-A-T, it's spelt now here in this sort of English. But harmony. We'd certainly think of heaven as harmonious, don't we? And plenty, of course. I mean, the rest of the world needs the rain, but we have the Nile. It just floods because of the gods at the right time. And because of Pharaoh. He's the link man, Okay, well, that's the plan. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Interesting. The pronunciation, Google says, is typically maat, R, which of course is my phonetic alphabet again, isn't it? Double A for the word indicating the divine, God. Absolute awe and wonder. Double A. So I've entitled this recording Maat accordingly, and I'm now pronouncing it as Maat, okay? Yes, divine order. And the Egyptian divine order is of personal concern for people. That's quite something, isn't it? They weren't the only people to have a society in which the poor would have their house gods and so on, and in some sense they were personal. And indeed, when Abraham, historically, is recorded as having his house gods, and he brought them with him, one of which was, of course, Jehovah, Yahweh, whatever you like to pronounce the name for God, for the Hebrew, in the story. But the story is dominantly as presented by the proposed scroll found when the Jews in particular came back from Babylon to rebuild the city and temple and so forth. Hezekiah's time. Yes, thank you, Heavenly Dad. Well, of course, it's not clear that Abraham's dad brought Jehovah as one of his house gods. It was rather the other name for God in the Bible, El, which of course was the general name for God throughout the region. And Jehovah, or Yahweh, as the academics have gone for pronunciation, is an Egyptian import. And in a sense, historically speaking, not come on the scene until Moses in Midian meets with God, Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever, the burning bush, which may well mean his father-in-law's God, and indeed perhaps even one of the gods in Egypt that Moses is supposed to have been brought up in, training. This more reasonably accounts for the different names for God as we move through the Old Testament saga. I mean, the whole thing is highly likely a gloss by Hezekiah, yes, but Persian influence to install the right religion again in this satellite state. And Java being the current upgrade of L for the occasion. If you follow Jason Reza Giorgiani, then you'll know his view that it's the Persians that are the driving influence as regards seeding religions, including the Greek philosophers and so on. Rather more tangibly influential than some understanding of God. In short, we could take the view that religion is the world's parallel to the heavenly spiritual realm of the true divine. Now, I don't think that the Jesus story is part of that Persian setup and drive. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers. You know, the greatest in born of women is John the Baptist, and yet the least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than him. And basically telling the religious authorities that their spiritual father was the devil. I mean, if you want to get yourself crucified, this is the way to do it, isn't it? I think the Jesus story is Egyptian. Not in content, but in Egyptian, pure form, Egyptian ethics. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.